If you're already where you're supposed to be, who decided something needed fixing? A situation appears. That's where it begins, or at least where it seems to begin. Something feels off. Something needs to be addressed, handled, fixed, improved, explained. That's the reflex. But before the words, before the reaction, before the strategy, a quieter question waits underneath it all. Who decided this is a problem? Because embedded inside every situation calling for help is an unexamined conclusion. Something here shouldn't be this way. And that conclusion goes unquestioned. I am here to be truly helpful, not eventually helpful, not strategically helpful, not helpful once the right words are found. Truly helpful. Which means help is not something to be constructed. It's something that is either present or obscured. So the moment shifts. The situation doesn't need to be solved first. It needs to be seen differently. I am here, not somewhere else. That line alone undoes half the tension, because the mind is rarely where the body is. It's in the next move, the better outcome, the alternative version of how this should have gone. But if help is real, it can only be here, not in a corrected version of now, not in a rearranged version of events. Here, as is. To represent him who sent me. Now the question deepens. If there is a sender, then there is no accident in the placement, no misstep, no misrouting, no wrong place, wrong time. Which brings the original question back with force. If you were sent here, who decided something went wrong? Because those two ideas cannot coexist. Either this moment is misplaced, or it is assigned. Either something has gone off track, or this is the track. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do. That's where the strain begins to crack. Because worry implies authorship. It assumes, this depends on me getting it right. But if the moment is assigned, then the outcome isn't self-generated. It's revealed. And revelation doesn't come through pressure. It comes through availability. For he who sent me will direct me. If that's true, then the role changes entirely. From fix this, say the right thing, handle this correctly, to be present enough to notice what's already being given. Guidance doesn't compete with noise. It waits for the noise to settle. I am content to be wherever he wishes. Content, not passive, not resigned, but undivided. No argument with the moment, no quiet demand for something else. Just a willingness that says, if this is where I am, then this is where help is. And not later, not once things improve. Now. Knowing he goes there with me. So the situation is not empty. It's not just a problem waiting for a solution. It's already occupied. Which raises the question again. If presence is already here, what exactly needs to be added? I will be healed as I let him teach me to heal. And here's the reversal. Healing is not something you do to the situation. It's what happens when the assumption of something's wrong is questioned. Because that assumption is the disturbance, not the event, not the person, not the circumstance, the interpretation. So now the phrase returns, a situation calling for help. But what if the call isn't coming from the outside? What if it's coming from the moment a judgment is made? The instant something is labeled as wrong, broken, incomplete. That's the call. Not for fixing, for reconsideration. So how do you recognize a situation calling for help? It has a familiar signature. Urgency, tension, the need to respond quickly, the pressure to get it right. the sense that something is off. And underneath all of it, a quiet belief, this shouldn't be happening. That's the indicator, not the situation itself, the interpretation of it. And that's where the inquiry lives. If you're already where you're supposed to be, who decided something needed fixing? Let that question stay. Don't answer it too quickly. Don't resolve it. Let it move, through conversations, through reactions, through moments of discomfort. Let it interrupt the automatic, because something begins to shift. The need to fix softens. The pressure to perform eases. The urgency to control begins to fade. Not because the situation changed, but because the decision about it was no longer left unexamined. And in that space, help appears. Not as effort, not as strategy, but as clarity. A word, or silence, or nothing at all. But whatever it is, it doesn't come from strain. It comes from alignment. So the situation was never the problem. The assumption was. And once that's questioned, what's left isn't confusion, it's presence. And from there, help is no longer something you try to be. It's something that was never absent. So the question remains, if you're already where you're supposed to be, who decided something needed fixing?